Sorry, ladies, but this one's for the guys. Have you ever wondered how Mario Tennis characters would react to being edged? Well, crack open a can of gamer grease and sit the fuck down. Let's just go ahead and do a little clean sweep. Disqualify Daisy and Peach. They can't be edged. It'd be just unjust to put them here. I don't have the hardware or technical know-how to properly... I'm gonna stop right there. Starting off with number 1. We have Mario, Jumpman Mario, the spearhead, the flagship, the poster boy of the franchise. I think Mario he'd like it. I think Mario would enjoy being edged. He's very partial to that kind of thing. I feel like in his many adventures across the Mushroom Kingdom, he's come across the idea that you gotta try everything at least once. So I think Mario would be accepting towards it. Luigi, however, as the younger brother of Mario, he wouldn't really understand the concept of edging. In fact, I think he'd be afraid of it. I think he has a phobia of being edged. Think about it. In Luigi's Mansion, he sucks ghosts all the time, and ghosts are scary. He correlates sucking with being scared, so I feel like he would be very terrified of the concept of edging. I think it's something he fears to this day. Wario, however, Wario would react incredibly positive. He'd say yes. Yes, I love edging. I love it a lot. Wario's that motherfucker who, if you stopped, he would begin to cry. He's hooked. Motherfucker's hooked on edging. Then his twin brother, Waluigi, I honestly feel that he's on the other side of the spectrum. He is a lanky fucking bastard, and I think he'd react angrily. He just looks like the motherfucker who'd hate having his time wasted. He's all business all the time. And it's just not right to do that to this kind of guy. Toad, however, I don't think he'd know. Do toads have wieners? I don't fucking know. They're mushrooms. Mushrooms reproduce asexually. I fucking guess he'd be indifferent. I don't know if I'd disqualify him or not, but I truly don't know. What's Toad packing? Do I want to know? Do I want to see his mushroom tip? Next up is Bowser, the antithesis to Mario. His sworn villain and potential cuckolder to Peach. I think Bowser would fucking love this shit. He's the type of guy who takes all the attention in the room, all eyes on him, all hours of the day. He'd fucking love edging. Bowser Jr., I'm disqualifying him. That's a steep, slippery slope that I don't want to take. Boo. He doesn't have a cock, and or dick, and or balls. So I don't know how you'd edge him. I don't know if I'd put him in the indifferent class, but I feel like maybe the tip of his tail, maybe he'd like that. Maybe since he's a ghost and he's disassociated from his physical body, it's more of like a roleplay thing. I feel by giving into his fantasy of having a physical body, you're going to make him very, very happy, so I think he'd be very positive about edging. Yoshi? He's a little guy. I love him. I think he'd be accepting of it. It wouldn't be the most favorite thing in the world, but he'd try it. He's cute. I love him. Donkey Kong is a primal ape, a disgusting creature, a missing link, if you will, between the more modern and evolved characters. He doesn't understand it. He's afraid of it. It's something that he's never encountered in his entire life, and honestly, I feel that he would react out of fear. It'd be like showing the first Neanderthal fire and flame. We have this fucking guy. I don't know his name. We have Spike. Look at this fucking guy. He looks indifferent to everything. I feel like you could slaughter his family and friends directly in front of him and he wouldn't even bat an eye. He doesn't care. He doesn't know you're edging him. He doesn't even know what that is. Look at him. Next we have Chain Chomp. I would say he doesn't have cock nor ball, but he is in fact a giant ball who acts like a cock. So I feel like it'd only be right to put him in the acceptable tier. He'd tolerate it, I feel. Next we have the Koopa Troopa. He's a cute little turtle. He's just a little guy. But, as a rank-and-file enemy, as a part of Bowser's army, he's used to being disposed of. Espirited and then trod. I think he'd be angry. He would want to be treated with respect as a normal person. He'd want to reach the end of the movie, if you know what I mean. Just as any normal person would. And I feel like he would react negatively to being edged. Next we have Blooper. He's a fucking squid. Really thinking about it, I don't know how much it'd take to make this guy ink. But I mean, that is his self-defense mechanism. I feel like he would react out of fear, not because he's afraid of it or he doesn't understand it, but because he's embarrassed. You know, as a squid, his entire job is to ink. It's a self-defense mechanism. And really, it just makes sense that he'd be a little wary in order to try it, because he wouldn't want to underperform. And I understand that. Poor little guy. Next up, Diddy Kong, disqualified. Next up, Paratroopa. He's same as Koopa Troopa, but he can fly. He's much more unburdened than his normal Koopa Troopa brethren. So I feel like he'd like it. In fact, because Koopa Troopa hates it, he would fucking love it. Next up, we have Shy Guy. Shy Guy is very shy. In fact, we could say that, much like Blooper, he'd be embarrassed. Come to think of it, what's Shy Guy hiding under that robe? Maybe he's hiding an absolute beast. A Tartarian monster from the pits of hell that he's just waiting to show people. He'd fucking love edging. Next up, we have Petey Piranha. I've never seen this motherfucker, nor do I know what he does, so I'm gonna put him in disqualified, because I don't feel at liberty to discuss this matter. Alright, here we have Boom Boom of the new Mario Tennis Aces. He looks like an asshole. He looks like a shithead. I feel like he'd be in the same boat as Bowser, but in fact, he might react a little bit more unconfidently than his Koopa overlord. He'd be acceptable over it, but always fear he's living in his shadow. Next we have the evil wizard, Kamek. I'm gonna make him Kamek. He fucking loves edging. Next we have the dry bones. I feel like the meat of his cock has worn away and degraded over the years of being a fucking skeleton, so he's disqualified. He's nothing to edge. Dry Bowser. Cereal when no halves milk, if you will. He's a fucking skeletal reptile that belongs in a museum, not in the bedroom. Disqualified. Next we have the Wiggler, known primarily for getting really angry when you step on his little flower. A Wiggler would react with, not rage, but indifference. He's a calm, collected little guy, minding his own business, walking around through the forest. Just leave him alone, you know? I think he wouldn't mind it if you did it, he just wouldn't care. Next we have the Fly Guy. Same case as Shy Guy, but, you know, contrary to the unburdenment of the power of flight, he'd hate it. You know what? Fuck him. I don't give a fuck about Fly Guy. He's a disgusting piece of shit who thinks he's better than Shy Guy. Send him to the fucking bottom. He's disqualified. I don't want to see his ass here. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, minus the ladies. How different Mario Tennis characters would react to being edged. I feel that, you know, as I understand the hardware as it fits, I know what I'm talking about, and I'm very qualified to discuss this matter. And looking back on it, this is the most official Nintendo licensed tier list on how they'd react to having their dicks edged. I bid you all adieu, and have a terrible rest of your week.